Hello and welcome to Case Closed. I'm Charlie Langton, your host. We'll soon go inside an actual courtroom in the Warren District Court to see a real small claims case in action. Now, under Michigan law, small claims cases may be brought by individuals seeking $3,000 in damages or less. Neither side may be represented by an attorney in small claims court, and the judge's decision is final. Now, let's take a look at the case of good sister versus bad sister-in-law.
All right, Mr. Cebulski, this is your case. What are you asking for?
I'm asking for $1,500 plus interest.
Interest?
This was a loan, basically, that was given back on January 7th of '08.
Made the loan on that day?
What is that?
You made the loan on that day?
No, this was a personal check that I gave to Todd's wife because she had to, she was charged and she needed money for, basically to see an attorney.
Okay, she was charged with a crime.
Yes.
Why are you, okay, you wrote a check, well, you're suing for $1,517.59.
Yes.
You wrote a check on January 7th for how much?
$1,500
To whom?
to Laura Evans.
That's, okay, that's the defendant's wife.
Wife, yes.
And she was charged with a crime.
Yes.
She needed an attorney and couldn't afford an attorney.
Correct.
So why were you a friend of hers or Mr. Evans? Is that why you did this or what?
Yes, Mr. Evans is basically my stepbrother. I mean, my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law?
Yes.
Okay, so his wife is your sister?
No.
I'm married to I'm sorry, my sister is his wife.
Your sister's his wife, I see, okay. All right, what do you have? Do you have a copy of the check there or anything?
Yes, I do.
Let me see what you have.
It's the top one.
So you wrote a check to Laura Evans
Yes.
for $1,500.
Correct.
Okay.
No, it was $5,500.
No, that
It's
one.
$1,500 here.
I
Want to look?
No, I got a total bill of $5,500. That's why.
From the lawyer.
No, from them.
From us. There's another case because there's two checks.
I
She
see
needed
another
the
one
15
here.
Yes.
That one's next week. I think it's next week.
Yes.
Well, this one, okay, let's see here. You wrote a check, the date is hard to read here, February 14th, Valentine's Day?
Yes.
You wrote a check in 2008
Correct.
to Lori Cebulski for $4,250?
Yes, we had to make it basically as a cashier's check to the attorney as of a certified check from our bank.
Who's Lori Cebulski?
I am
What is your name?
Lori Cebulski.
Okay. And you're, okay,
That's my sister.
okay, you're
Yes.
related to him how?
I'm married to him.
Okay.
You want me to step up?
You might as well, But,
What happened with the 1,500?
okay, explain it.
Laura was going through some things and she needed $1,500 to go to an attorney. And she was going to sue Dynamic Power Sports on behalf of me and my brother Todd and his wife, Todd and her. And well, anyway, it all blew up and Laura got charged with embezzlement. And then we had to take out a second loan for Laura in the amount of $4,250.
Why are you doing all this? Just because he's your
He's my
brother?
brother.
And Laura, and
And she's my sister-in-law. And she said she didn't do it, and we believed her. So she needed an attorney. She was getting in charge with embezzlement. They were going to arrest her, so we, he was my brother. And
still is.
still is. When we contacted the attorney, because Laura told us that the attorney was putting in two lawsuits, one for us and one for her, the attorney said he never heard of a case for me and and for them, that he used the whole money towards Laura's
Defense?
court case,
mean
because
her-
she owed them more money than the whole $5,500. So Todd told me, asked me how much total amount Laura owed us, and I said, well, she took out a loan for us for $1,500 and $4,250. So he said, don't worry about it, we'll pay you back. So,
I didn't find out about it. Nobody
Till
told me.
after-
Just a minute, just a minute.
All right.
Go ahead.
well, he didn't, well, afterwards, he asked me how much Laura took out, and that's when I told him, and he says, well, don't worry about it, I'll pay you back. And I said, fine. I said, you know, we weren't asking much, just some money a month from him. And then it was like almost a year, and in the beginning, it wasn't a problem because we had some money put away, and this is actually an inheritance from his mother. And his mother went into a nursing home, and we needed the money because we owed almost 5 months' worth of nursing home care.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be suing?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And now we got a 17-year-old going into college too. So, and all we asked from my brother basically was just some money a month. Let us know when you can't pay us.
Yeah,
Just an email letting us know when you can't pay us, and he refuses to do that. So,
You can sit down, ma'am.
I'm sorry. This
Well-
is just hard.
Well, I have no doubt. I have no doubt that it's hard.
And
Hard for me.
we sent him a letter basically asking him if he could set up a timeline. He refused to answer that letter.
Yeah, actually,
Well, we went at a time. Okay, why don't
Okay.
you let your wife talk? You wanted her up here, or she kind of volunteered?
We sent him a
actually. Let her go.
letter asking him about a timeline, when he could pay us. Basically didn't answer that letter. Then we sent him another letter, which we have here, a certified letter, sent
Okay.
4 times, he never answered us. Then we have another case, which we wrote a check to Dynamic, we saw him in court, asked him when he was gonna pay us, which he told us he'd be sending us a check, and it's been 4 months. So,
So your sister-in-law, Laura Evans, needed some help, and you wrote a check to her for $1,500 that she could give to an attorney to represent her in an embezzlement case, right?
yeah,
On January 7th, 2008, you did that.
correct.
Why didn't you just pay the attorney?
She asked me for a check. She didn't have me make it out to anybody because she wasn't sure who the check was gonna be made out to. Then she took it to the bank, and she ended up making the check out. The bank called me because the handwritings was different, and Laura told me that it was because
It is
Stephen Toya, her attorney at the time, would not take a third endorsed check. And I said, well, Laura's
Why didn't you
needs-
just write a check to Mr. Toya directly yourself?
Because at the time, you know, a lot of things make sense now, but at the time,
And I don't, no, things don't make sense now, ma'am.
you know,
This is
when
not-
you look back at them,
Maybe
it's
to you,
like,
but not to me.
why? Well, because I asked her who the attorney was, and she
Right.
said that he would not take my check because I basically was not his client.
Oh, all right, well, I suppose, you know, there's some legitimate argument there,
So that's why she took it to Huntington.
Okay.
I think that one's off Huntington, and had it cashed.
I think it is
Then
Huntington.
Huntington called me.
Right,
And I said it was okay to go ahead and cash, and she took it to Stephen Toya.
which, okay, very good. Now, when you wrote this check to her,
Correct.
well, first of all, I guess we should ask here, Mr. Cebulski, why are you suing instead of your wife? You wrote the check, ma'am, right?
I wrote the check, yes.
Why are you suing? Shouldn't your wife be suing?
either or, it was my account at the time, I just put her on right at that time, so,
I have a
Yeah.
chronic pain disorder called
Okay.
RSD, and I have good days and bad days. Some days I can't get out of bed, and
All right. Well, I
So-
still don't know what that has to do with your husband suing instead of you.
some days I just
I mean, there's days that.
Stress.
One at a time. Why do you-
Stress is just not a good thing for me, and this has been really tough, so.
Well, you're not the only one, ma'am.
Yeah, I am sure.
When you wrote this check
Yes.
to your sister-in-law,
Yes.
okay, did you say anything to her? I mean, was there some agreement about paying it back, or would you just give it to her, or what? What was the
No,
understanding?
at the time, it was gonna be $750 for us and $750 for them.
What do you mean, $750 for them?
Because at the time, she came over and got the check.
Right?
She was all mad at Dynamic because they were firing her over stuff. I'm not sure exactly what went on
Okay.
with the embezzlement charges. And she was gonna go after them, and they were, the police officers were coming over to our house because she sold four-wheelers to us.
What do you mean wheelers?
Four-wheelers, ATVs.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you.
Okay,
All right.
she sold ATVs to us. And the police officers came to our house and confiscated them.
But what's the $750 bit?
So she said that they were gonna put a retainer for $750 for us and $750 for Todd and Laura.
I mean,
to
why?
start a
Because you were
case.
gonna get charged?
We didn't know what was going on.
You never did get charged,
No,
though, did
we
you?
never did get charged, no. No,
But you gave her a check, okay, a check for $1,500. Supposedly, $750 was gonna be used to represent her, and $750 used to
Right.
represent you if you got charged?
yes,
And Mr. Toya was gonna represent you, or did you even know?
supposedly.
Well, I don't think he could have done that. There's a conflict there.
Well, anyway,
He can't represent both of you, even assuming you had been charged,
well, then Laura ended up getting arrested.
okay?
Okay, and we asked Laura, where was the receipt, because,
Receipt from the attorney?
from the attorney, because Dynamic, John at Dynamic was actually going after Derek, basically saying he was gonna charge him. So we were kind of going like, where's the receipt? And we couldn't get a receipt from her. We kept on asking her, and she would not give us a receipt. So we called Stephen Toya. He said he had set nothing up with us. He didn't even know anything about us, and that the $1,500 that Laura gave her, along with the $4,250 that she gave them, put all towards her defense, and she owes a lot more than that. That basically says that that's all he told us. And we said, well, that $750 was supposed to be towards us. He says, no, he never knew anything about us.
Not surprising, you would say that?
And,
Since you never talked to him,
right,
but you were never charged anyway, so he never did any legal services for you.
right, basically. So then Todd came up to me after everything and said, well, how much did Laura actually borrow from you? And I said, well, at the time, you know, Laura took the $1,500, but $750 was supposed to be for us, but Stephen Toya took the whole $1,500 and put it towards Laura, and then the $4,250, he says, well, don't worry about it, I'll make sure you get all of it back, I'll pay you back.
Who said that, Mr. Evans?
My brother, yes. Todd.
Well, there's another check here dated, like I said, I think it's Valentine's Day, 2008.
Yeah, that's the other court case we have against him. He has been.
Against who?
My brother,
Oh, you're suing him?
yes, for the other check.
I mean, for the
Because he's-
15, wait a minute, what other check, the $1,500, that's what this
No,
is?
the $4,250,
There's a check made out to you for $4,250.
yes.
On Huntington, it's a check from Huntington Bank, a cashier's check probably.
Because I had to take a cashier's check out of Huntington for $4,250 and turn it around and make it out into a cashier's check to Stephen Toya for Laura.